Yesterday, there was some bizarre scenes in the House of Commons as the MP for Dover and Deal, Natalie Elphicke, crossed the floor of the House from the Conservative side to the Labour side. Now, when she did that, initially nobody seemed to realise what had happened. She just took her seat behind Keir Starmer, and a lot of people thought she was confused and she'd got lost. But no, this was absolutely a deliberate plan. And Sir Keir Starmer stood up in Prime Minister's Question Time, which happens every Wednesday at midday, and said, as his first piece, that a Tory MP had crossed the floor and was now sitting behind him, and this was terrible, and Rishi Sunak's government was terrible, and there should be a general election. And I think we're going to hear similar things like this for the next 6 months until you get bored of hearing it, because they're all agitating for a general election as soon as possible. Now, Miss Elphicke herself is, of course, the MP for Dover, where there is a huge problem with immigration. She seems to be rather confused and very, very inconsistent, because she was very, very critical of the Labour Party even a year ago. In April 2023, she wrote in the Daily Express that Labour's attempts to stop the Rwanda scheme, which isn't really much good anyway, was dangerous. And Sir Keir Starmer wanted to create loopholes in the system. She also complained in 2022, not long ago, that a Labour would represent fewer and weaker border controls when it comes to illegal arrivals on our shores. But she seems to have completely changed her mind on that. And despite saying that Rishi Sunak isn't going to do enough and isn't doing enough to stop the boats from crossing the channel, even though we know Labour would be no better than the fake Conservatives and probably worse, she now thinks that they are the party to join. She says of the Labour Party, Labour plan to build the homes we need, help young people onto the housing ladder, and care about the vulnerable and homeless. That's why I'm honoured to have been asked to work with Keir and the team to help deliver the homes we need, and so on. She doesn't seem to mention much about stopping immigration there. She seems to have turned into rather a wet one nation conservative and thinks that Labour is the same. Well, they are pretty much, because as I've said many times, we know they are a uni-party. There's not really two different parties behind the scenes. Yes, they jostle with each other to see who's going to get the job with the highest amount of money and who's going to get the position with the most power in the system. But really, they are all working together to implement the same agendas: the woke agenda, the war agenda, the climate agenda, and the mass immigration agenda. Then there's not going to be any difference between the two. So she hasn't really crossed the floor, in my opinion. She's just moved from the blue section to the red section of the same uni-party, and you're not going to get any difference between them. However, it does seem rather bizarre. Even some of the Labour grandees like Neil Kinnock are questioning what's happening and saying, well, the Labour Party shouldn't be taking people from the Conservative Party in, especially if they disagreed with some of their policies before. And some people are questioning, has she just done it because she's got some kind of deal that when she stands down, and she is going to do at the next election, she will be fast-tracked into the House of Lords with a peerage? Well, we shall see. Very often people make deals behind the scenes. Tory donors, we know, often end up with peerages, and you question, why on earth is this person in the House of Lords with power to make our laws? But this is the system that we have, a corrupt uni-party. This isn't anything which is going to make any difference to the nation or her constituents. The people of Dover and Deal deserve better. The people of the United Kingdom deserve better. And let's hope at the next election they all get swept away and we get some people in who really do care about this country rather than the deplorable uni-party.